Hi, how y'all doing today? My name is David Gugino, and today's book review, I got another good book, and it actually has another swear word in it, but today is a bit different. I am filming this at 8 a.m. in the morning. It is my day off my job, and I've been trying to get all my stuff done because I've been working on this, doing my weight training, doing my research, and it's all been all in one day. So, I'm filming today at 8 in the morning, not at night, and not in the afternoon. But for today's book, I have a book with another swear word in it. And it's a very wise book. It's not ever going to beat The Subtle Art of Giving an F, but I have Wisest F by Gary John Bishop. Now, Gary John Bishop, there's a picture of him on the back. He looks like an interesting character. I don't know, you can probably zoom in on the camera and see what he looks like. But the way he words things is a little, it's only off because you don't really know what he's saying or what he's trying to get to. But then as you interpret it, you're like, oh, this is what he's talking about. So, this wasn't a horrible book, but it was a little hard to understand. But I found a few things in it that I'm going to tell you all. And it was a few things that are true, like the usual. But the things that are true is, it says on the front, simple truths to guide you through the SHIT storms of life. And the reason why it's called Wise as F. Can you make a decision if it was a good thing or not? Or do you think that you are so smart that you know everything and you think that everything you do is right? Think about that. Because in reality, you might think you are right or really smart in certain things, but you're not. And you're probably wondering, well, why do I think that way? Because you've never gotten another person's opinion as to how everything goes. Or you get a person's opinion and you're just like, nah, I don't know what they're talking about. But then as you consider other sources and other people, you're like, I might have to change my ways. But let's dive into the book here. We're going to start from the beginning. Now this is at the beginning as what to do and what to do is the name of the chapter. So listen to this. The cool thing is, real wisdom can never be undone, because when you discover something for yourself, such as a thunderous, penetrating discovery, you cannot undiscover that thing, but it doesn't stop with that discovery. You take it on by consciously adopting it, then plow straight into your life and live from it. That's about what it takes so distinct from knowledge. Just something, maybe even memorize it too, but not everyone is learning from it and then living from what they've learned. Of someone being wise, what we mean is they know a lot of stuff, or that they possess some admirable character trait such as patience or passion, or whichever virtuous trait that seemingly comes so easily to them. But just because someone has memorized the entire dictionary doesn't make them wise. Does it? Is knowing how to define talismanic, I don't know how to pronounce it, C-A-T-A-C-L-Y-S-M-I-C, going to help them out when their life goes up in flames, and they need to find a way to douse the fire? Not so much. So what he's saying right there, like he said, it's kind of confusing. In life, you can gain all the knowledge you want, but you have to use the knowledge for something. So that example he just used, how to define that word, that cataclysmic, I think is how it's pronounced. How is that going to help you in life when you go up in flames? And when he's talking about wisdom, he's talking about wisdom as in when things go wrong in your life, what wise choices are you going to make? Going to a bar and getting drunk and getting into fights with people will only land you in jail, but it's not a smart decision. Now, you might have that in your history, being like, yep, I went like this and then changed this way, which is great, but you don't have to live that way. It's like people who go to drugs when they're depressed. It's like, yeah, you came back from it, because some people do. You came back from it, but just make it a cautionary tale. Your life does not have to be that way. And now the other thing I want to bring up is you're probably like, well, David, how do I become wise and smart and make smart choices when my life goes up in flames? Honestly, you talk to somebody, for one. And for two, you could look up videos, but you might find some dumb people who tell you some dumb things. But I think my best advice would be to ask other people what to do and talk to somebody. because sometimes you don't know what to do when your life goes up in flames. I love the lessons I've learned by simply talking to somebody. Now, I understand figure things out on your own, but I will tell you my piece of advice is this: do not be emotional. Do not act out on your emotions. Because if you really think about it, teenage girls and little kids act on their emotions. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean by act on your emotions? Like as in, hey, as a kid, you cannot buy this toy today, and then you cry because you're upset. Now, you are upset, but you don't have to act out and throw a tantrum about it. Kind of like that. Someone calls you a jerk and you want to get up in their face and fight them. You might want to, but you do not have to. Now, the next thing we're going to review is something else. Now, with being emotional or when life throws stuff at you, I mean, talk to somebody is one of them, but I think just getting wisdom is think of like, what would be the best way to react so I don't screw up my life even more? Best way to react as in, it's like someone wanting to fight you in the streets. Sometimes the best thing to do is to walk away. Now, obviously, if they attack you, you fight back, but the best thing to do is always walk away. Even if you're an expert in martial arts, boxing, or Krav Maga, just walk away. Because you will be amazed, I'm still amazed about how easily it is for you to get hurt. Especially in the streets, but even just with boxing and not knowing how to fight, it's just amazing how easily, for us humans, how easily it is for us to get hurt. And you do not want that in your life. So, the next thing that I have is about love, as crazy as it sounds, love. We all love love, we all want love, but this is he's got a whole section. He's like, the wisdom of love is the name of this chapter. Now this is kind of a weird one, because it took me a while to find out what he was trying to talk about in this little chapter, but let's read what he has to say about the wisdom of love. Free of what? Your most precious commodity, your point of view, the one thing in your life that you'll trash everything and anything for. That's pretty true to some extent. When you finally isolated and destroyed your story, that all too powerful narrative of how things are, were, and should be, and should have been, when you confront and take responsibility for the real, in-your-face, self-inflicted damage, that uninterrupted will live with you until the end. You are putting yourself in a very powerful place, a place of creation, of having a real say in how all your relationships go. This is all about the freedom to be you, and how you do that is by granting others the freedom to be themselves. So, granting people the freedom to be themselves sometimes is what you have to do. It's like people who make poor choices. It really agitates me when people continue to screw up their lives, and they know they make poor choices, but they refuse to fix them. Sometimes people don't know if that is a poor choice. I'm like, why did I do that? Now, they might not get hurt, and something might not, well, it's like when you date the wrong girl. You're like, she was a poor choice, but at the time you didn't know that. You just got to know that. So I guess there is experience involved. So life is experience. It is experience. So think about that. When you make poor choices, and even when you make good choices, you make all those through experience. So, when he's talking about here, I like what he says here, your most precious commodity, your point of view. The one thing in your life that you'll trash everything and anything for. So, with people who make poor choices, I could tell them how horrible of a person they are, and how they're screwing up their lives because of themselves. Now, sometimes people who are delusional and don't see it, they need to hear that. Now, you can deliver it in a somewhat nice way, but you just simply tell them, the reason you're screwing up your life is because of the choices you're making. And your point of view could save someone's life, because it might be true. It might be so true, because the truth is something you can't ignore. And it's like in The Matrix. Neo could have easily taken the, I think it was the red pill. It might have been, I think he took the blue one, I don't know. But the red pill, you'll just wake up in reality, and everything will be fine. But if you take the blue pill, you will find out the truth as to what our world actually is. And even Lawrence Fishburne's character was like, his name was Morpheus. He goes, I'm just offering you the truth. The truth as to how the whole world works. And when someone offers you the truth and wants to tell you the truth, you need to listen. And you gotta consider the source. And when I say consider the source, I mean it's like dealing with a mean boss and all he does is punk people around, is mean to everybody. He tells you, hey, you're a horrible worker. Well, consider the source. He's mean to everybody and doesn't care about his job and doesn't care about his people. And doesn't care about his employees. So, that might be true to some extent, but if he treats everybody that way, you're like, you know what? He treats everybody that way, so I don't really care. Now, if he was a good boss and he was nice to everybody and he just tells you one day that you're lazy, you're like, huh, that might be slightly true, and I might want to fix it. So when it comes to criticism, or constructive criticism, is obviously no one's ever called me straight lazy, but for people out there who have, you just simply work harder, or you find things that they want you to work on, you work on them. Now there are some jobs, I work 12-hour shifts, and if someone's like, I want you constantly working the entire time, I'm going to be like, no, I'm here for 12 hours. Being rebellious isn't bad, but there's a difference between being rebellious and being realistic. So just think about that for a second. Now, this is all about the freedom to be you, and how you do that is by granting others the freedom to be themselves. Now, why is that so true? Because honestly, other people's problems do not have to be your problems. It's your life to live. It is your own life. You can make your own choices, and their opinion does not matter. Especially when it's about their own life. It is the freedom to let others be themselves. And it's the freedom to be you. So people can tell you all they want about how you should do this and you should do that. Nope, you live your own life. God put you on this earth to live the life that He has given you, and He's got plans for you specifically. He's got plans for everybody, but you gotta think of God's plan for you, not anybody else. Now the third and final thing that I have in wisest, so I've noticed that when these books have swear words on them, they mark out one of the letters, because I think they cannot, put that on their book, otherwise their book will not sell. So this also says it is a New York Times bestseller. I've seen that on a lot of books, so when I say that, I mean, yeah, but New York Times bestseller for how long? I mean, obviously it's an achievement, it's a great achievement, but I need to find out exactly what that means. As in, did it sell a certain amount of copies in New York? Was it on, the top books read or books bought? I don't know, but I'll try and figure that out. Because, I don't know, I just don't know. You don't know how much you don't know. Now, the third and final thing that I have in Wise as F is... So this is something I brought up multiple times, but you can view it differently. Sorry about that noise in the background, it's my laundry. But the only stuff you can't get over is the stuff you're holding on to. Why is that? Well, two things. First, the very topic of loss is often a societally wow, I can't pronounce this word. Societally, societally forbidden subject unless approached with the extreme care of a nuclear reactor core. It's a no-go zone for many people. The kind of safe place where they can retreat and where no one can follow them. People often slip into the trap of doing the same when it comes to their bodies or their health. It can all too easily become an escape from the press of life. I mean, you just don't mess with someone when they say, I'm sick, depressed, grieving, back off. Do you? No one does. Second, most people have little or no idea that they're holding on to stuff from their own past. In their mind, it seems like there's something clinging to them. Talking about grief. Obviously, when you go through grief, it doesn't really have to be with someone dying. It could be the loss of a girlfriend, divorce from a wife, loss of job, loss of just a certain someone you died, but someone you just knew and enjoyed seeing. Because when it comes to grieving, I mean, people go through stuff and people react differently when they go through grieving stuff. So, kind of what he's saying here, the only stuff you can't get over is the stuff you're holding on to. So, for example, if your girlfriend broke up with you and you're still not traumatized, but you're still upset about it, and let's say a year goes by and you're still upset about it. Now, if you've been with the same woman for a decade and all of a sudden she cheats on you and you're just like, huh, what did I do wrong? You still haven't found anybody, which I guess I'd probably take a pretty long break after that, but you're still upset about it. You could be denying as to why you're upset and as to why you're not happy doing the things you love, and just be like, no, I'm just not happy because I'm alone. I don't think the loneliness might be part of it, but a big portion of it is you're still upset that she broke up with you. So, and that's kind of a scary thing in life, ignoring the things that are causing you problems. Because the more you ignore, in my opinion, the more you ignore, the worse they get. But the worst thing is, actually no, the worst thing is, aside from them getting worse, is them still being there. They're not going to go away. Your problems will not go away if they just stay there. And I know I brought that up a lot, and every book brings that up, because it amazes me how many people will ignore their problems their entire life and not touch them or even bother to figure them out. For example, one of mine that I ignored for so long that I'm trying to work on is problem solving. Not like with life, but with like mechanical issues, or like, for example, my laundry stopped working, figuring that out. Learning directions of how to get to places because I was so dependent on my GPS. But I guess that's another thing. You can't be dependent on something working for you all the time. Now, obviously, if you're driving somewhere you've never driven before and your GPS does not work, then that's when you either ask for directions and ask for streets and stuff like that. But problem solving is just something I've always struggled with. Or I solve it, but not in the best way and or the fastest way, and probably the worst way, sometimes even the most dangerous way. But solving problems, for me, is something that's really hard for me to do, and I ignored that until, like, now. I'm 24 years old. Now, yes, keep in mind, I'm still young, but if I chose to attack this years ago, even when I was in school, I'd probably be a lot smarter and a lot more intelligent, I want to say, in life. And intelligence, how does intelligence come? It comes with knowledge and wisdom. And you're probably wondering, well, what do you mean it comes with knowledge and wisdom? It comes from the knowledge of like gaining it, and it comes from the wisdom of how to use it, and the wisdom of when you're using it, how you can use it to help other people. Because we all need help. There are people who have the same issues that you do, there are people who are coming back from issues, and there are people who just have issues where they need to solve them by you simply helping them. So, whatever stuff you're holding on to, do not hold on to any more stuff. Let it go. Figure it out. Talk to somebody. And just figure out your life. And that is the takeaway for this video. Figure out what you got going on in your life and figure out what you want more to go on in your life. And when I say figure out what you got going on in your life, figure out certain things that are bugging you. Figure out certain things that have just slipped your mind and figure out ways to fix them. So figure out your life. This is Wisest. I hope you all read it. I thought it was a difficult read only because he went through like sections in the book where he just kept going on and on, and I'm like, what's the point? And kind of like the book I reviewed last week of 12 Rules for Life. I mean, he did, but in this one he just goes on, and he doesn't like use any examples. He just continues to talk, really. But overall, I thought this was a good book. This was one I read years ago. This is Wise as F. I hope you all read it, and I hope you all figure out your life today. Thank you all for watching.